Buenos dias, Gunners Collective TV. Back at it. You already know. Like a torta with some bad habits. Bye up, bye up. Let's get to the intro. Welcome back to the channel. And if you haven't already hit that like and subscribe button, make sure you go ahead and do that. Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directing the direction of the dope content that the gun stays kicking. And I appreciate your support, man. So we got Lefty Gunplay 2.0, right? He is back. He is back, right? He is back with a vengeance. Let me tell you about Lefty Gunplay, man. He gets a lot of grief, a lot of hate. He gets a lot of people pointing fingers in his direction. And look, if the shoe fits, you have to wear it, right? And at one point, man, Lefty Gunplay, one thing I like about him is he didn't deny the fact that he was on Scante, right? That he had let his emotions, his feelings take a hold of his life. And he was doing bad. He was doing dirt bad, right? It got to the point where he was getting caught with fucking clavo in his ass in Texas. He was getting snatched up off tour dates. He was just getting harassed to a certain point, and it was all because he was basically using. Let's just be real. You know, once an addict, always an addict. And I don't look down upon addicts because I got homeboys, family members that have all participated, right? At some point in my life, I was that close to becoming an addict myself, man. I was out there yayed out the game with the homeboys running around thinking I was cool. And I did it not because I thought it was a cool thing to do, but because I wanted to do it, because I wanted to indulge, because I wanted to be a part of that lifestyle. And I wanted to see what that would bring me. And all it brought me was grief, turmoil, desolation, hopelessness, and nada. I don't have not one thing from that era of time to show for anything that I did. You know, once I realized, hey, this ain't what I want to do with my life, I was done. Sometimes it takes encouragement from other people. Sometimes it takes changing your whole circle. Sometimes it takes just looking at yourself and realizing, hey, I don't want to be like that anymore. I don't want to be sucked up. I don't want to be looking the way I was looking. I can tell you guys right now, Lefty had an epiphany. Whatever it was, something made him change. And now that he has checked into rehab, that Vato has rehabbed out the game. Lefty is looking like a straight up monster. He's looking like someone different. Doesn't even look like the same old Lefty Gunplay. And with change in your body and change in your mind, things will start to change around you. You'll see a lot more positive things happening. And Lefty, he's one of the luckiest motherfuckers I ever seen. Fell into a song that's Grammy nominated. You know what I'm saying? Fell into all kinds of different interviews and things. I mean, his name just took fire. His push was real. His buzz never ended. His 15 minutes of fame has now extended to 15 years of fame. And there's no denying it. You might hate Lefty Gunplay because some of the shenanigans he does and some of the ways he talks. But one thing I could say about Lefty Gunplay is he's always said truth. He's always told the truth. He's never hid his drug addiction. He's never hid his flaws. He's always spoke some real, right? His eyes might roll back in his head when he does it, or did, but now he's different. Now I can see his mindset. He's dedicated. He's definitely dedicated to getting in that gym and being progressive with it, right? Lefty has changed. And I think he needed that. He really needed that because his ship was sinking fast. See, right now his ship's about to sail. Right then his ship was sinking. Lefty Gunplay's changed. And I don't know what did it. I can tell you guys a story, man. In my particular case, this is the truth. This is facts. Story I've never told, right? So I was getting yayed out with the homies, right? It got to the point where we were up 2, 3, 4 days, and it takes a lot to do that, right? So we were just going and going and going. And I remember I wanted to get my arm done right here. I have these quacked ass tattoos that the homeboy did, and I wanted to get Merced on my stomach at that particular time, right? And there was a homeboy named Dreamer from Livas. He was a tattoo artist, and he lived in Merced. And his old lady was one of my good homegirls, and a prima of mine's home, and my homegirl. It was their fucking friend, right? And so, you know, I was telling everyone, man, I want to get tatted down, but I wasn't trying to pay You know, it was like $100, $150 a letter to get my stomach done in a shop. And I wasn't trying to do all that. The homeboy that did tattoos in my neighborhood was locked up at the time. So I was like, damn, what am I going to do? Right. So I remember just putting it out there. My prima came to me and my homegirl, and they're like, hey, one of our homegirls, her old man's a tattoo artist. The homeboy Dreamer from Levi's, right? Livingston. I was like, is that right? I was like, tell him what's up. Tell him I got some money. I know they need money because they lived in the hood. I was like, I got him, man. If you could hook my stomach up, maybe a tattoo on my arm or something. And, you know, I was young and I wanted to get tattoos. I just fresh out of YA. I only had a couple tattoos on me. I wanted to, you know, I wanted that image, that cholo, that gangster, that norteño image at the time. That's what I wanted. And so the homegirl came back to me. She was like, yeah, he said he's down. Come through tonight. But I ain't going to lie. I was all yayed out. I was kicking it with the homies. And I remember missing that appointment, not showing up. She ends up giving my phone number to the dude, right? He calls me. He's like, hey, bro, you want to get tatted? It's because he needed money. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, hey, bro, I'll cut it in half, man. I'll do your whole stomach and everything for $200, your arm, your stomach, whatever you want. And I was like, all right. But I was on a good one. I was on a sick one, yayed out, because I was running around with the homeboys, and that's all we did. You know, it got to the point that we sat in homes, and that's all we did. You know, at first we used it as motivation to go out there, starting trouble and looking to make more money to buy more. It was just a repeat cycle. It was just a vicious cycle, right? But anyways, I pull up, and I remember this old lady opens the door, and I walk in, and they could tell right off the top, this motherfucker's on something, right? But then I look around, and I could tell I'm not the only one. So the homie's like, hey, you want to do a gagger before this or whatever? Yeah, hell yeah, right? Bam. So we do our thing. First of all, he's like, I'm going to do your arm. And so he's like, what do you want, man? We pick up some clown pictures and shit from the Lowrider magazine, old school stuff, right? He does the little pattern right there. We're at his house. The homegirls are doing crossword puzzles. His old lady's cooking, but nobody's eating. It was just a bad look, a bad situation. But that's where my life had ended up at that point, right? And I was still young. I was just beginning. So anyways, we sit down, bam. We do the first tattoo. My arm's stinging, burning, right? He's digging. Dude wasn't the greatest tattoo artist, right? As I thought he was. But when you're yayed out, you're not really feeling it. I'm feeling it a little bit, which goes to show you that he was really bad, right? So I'm feeling it. He's digging me out. But after he does it, it looks cool. I'm wiping all the fucking blood and plasma and everything that's pouring out of me, right? And he's like, let's do the stomach. So we hit the stomach up. Boom. One pass. He's done. And now everyone's just indulging, just whatever, right? And this is what changed my attitude in my life forever. This is when I said, I'm cool, man. I ain't doing that shit no more. I'm not going to do that. Not to say that I never did it after, right? Because there was once upon in my lifetime, not so many years ago, where I indulged partying with the homies. You know, it's that party thing. But this is what made me stop cold turkey at that point in my life. Like, nah, this shit has got a grip on me. Kind of like what's going on with Lefty Gunplay, right? I'm on a good one, right? I'm chilling right there. They lived in some upstairs apartments right by a Catholic church. And my homegirl's doing a crossword puzzle. She's sitting there. It's a good friend of mine, right? I still rock with her to this day. Probably one of my best friends, right? She ain't no joke either. She'll fuck around and beat you up. And so the homegirl's right there, my prima, the homeboy's old lady, and his sister comes through. His sister's bad, right? Super bad. And I was like, damn. I remember her name was Lisa. Badass chick. And I was like, start dusting myself off. I'm like, damn, what's up? And she just looked at me and started laughing. She was like, you wish, right? Like, hell no. And usually chicks were on it. Usually it was like, no problem. They were like, oh, what's up, right? And we'd have conversations, and then one thing led to two others, right? But in this situation, she kind of looked at me like, hell no. And it was a firm hell no. You know, and I'm one of those guys, I could take no for an answer. So I was like, all right, whatever then. And so now I'm looking out of the window, and my homegirl's looking at me. I can see her from the corner of my eye. And I got this big old fierro, big old knife in my hand, right? And I'm just staring, zoned out. That's how bad it was. I was zoned out, and I'm looking at the road, and there's a priest walking by with like a lady or something, right? I remember, prior to that, look, I'm sitting there. My homegirl's like, are you okay? And I said, yeah, I'm good. Why? She said, you've been staring at that window for like an hour. I said, look, I'm going to tell you right now. And this was my mindset. I was so fucked up. I was like, the next person that walks down that road, I'm going to run down there and just fucking book them. She was like, hell no, if we can't do that, it's the homie's house and my homegirl's house. And I said, I don't give a shit about none of that. The next person, I think I was a little upset because that chick had been like, whatever, right? She was bad too. But whatever, right? So my homegirl calmed me down. She was like, nah, you ain't going to do that. And then I looked down, and a priest and like a nun or a lady walked by, right? Because it was a Catholic church next door. So thank God I didn't push that issue because, wow, you know where I'd be going, right? Probably going there anyways. But anyways, so she pulls me away and my homegirl goes, "What's wrong with you?" And I said, "Ain't nothing wrong with me. What's wrong with you?" And she goes, "Look in the mirror, fool." And I remember this changed my life. And this is what I think happened with Lefty Gunplay. You got to hit rock bottom, right? She said, "Look in the mirror." And I looked and she goes, I said, "What?" She said, "Look, motherfucker, look." And I looked, and for the first time in a long time, I seen myself, and I wasn't me. My eyes were blank. My body, my skin, everything was tore up, right? She was like, "Bro, you need to kick back." And I was like, and she's all yelled out telling me that, but she was like, "For reals, fool, look at you." And I realized at that point right then and there, I was like, man, I'm fucking up, right? I'm doing bad. I'm doing dirt bad, I think, right? I got to get weller to weller. So I immediately said, "I'm good, man. What I had here, you can have that." I left. I got some sleep. I got back to the grind. I got back to who I should be rather than who I was trying to be. Now, with Lefty Gunplay, I feel that he has hit that situation as well. You know, when you got people coming at you, people talking shit about you because your eyes roll back, people laughing at your speech pattern, people telling you you can't rap worth shit. You got, hey, the whole world is watching you. You're Grammy nominated, or you're at least on a record that's Grammy nominated. There's going to be a lot of eyes on you. And I believe the team that he had around him in the beginning didn't give a shit. They were indulging with them. They were having a good time. It's party time. The young homie gets money. He's finally having money. He's driving Maybachs. He's, you know what I'm saying? Whatever he's doing. But I started to realize, hey, Lefty, really his mindset wasn't all there. And I'm going to tell you the exact reason that made me think like, oh, man, he needs help. He really, really needs help. I don't care about the weight loss. I didn't care about the eyes rolling back in the head. I got homeboys, my primo does that time, whooping, right? I didn't care about none of that. But the thing that made me realize with Lefty was he had issues was when he did an interview and he talked about, man, I got money. I'm doing this. I'm driving around Maybachs. I'm doing this. And he goes, but I ain't never moved my mom out the hood. You know what I'm saying? I bought her a car, but I just left her there. And, you know, just the things he was saying, I was like, that's a selfish, self-absorbed person. Someone who he has the kind heart. And I've seen Lefty do kind things, right? With children and all that. He's kind-hearted. But when you're not thinking straight, all you're worried about is yourself and what the homies thinking. Let's spend money over here. He's fucking off thousands of dollars with the homies all night, getting high and drinking and partying with chicks and doing what he's doing. Meanwhile, his mom's still in the trailer in the hood, right? Someone that has their mindset straight and their priorities, their first instinct is to get mom up out the hood, to take themselves up out the hood. Hey, you're never not gonna be from the hood, but you ain't got to live there. you ain't got to be cool to kick it to be cool. That's just that. When I seen that, what he said, and also about his child support and things like that, I started not to be judgmental, but to be like, hey, this kid needs help. He literally needs help because he's going to fuck off a great career. He's going to mess up everything that he's worked hard for. We're talking about someone who came from a barrio to the confinements of Pelican Bay, which not a lot of people could say they do that, doing shoe terms and all that. And regardless if he was a fuckboy or he was a gangster or whatever he was, he still made it to the Bay, right? And then to the Bay, from the Bay to the streets, to blowing up and having this career that's just started. He just began. He's not the best rapper, but he's getting better with ghostwriters and his skills are coming up to par. He needed to work on himself. And the pictures tell the whole story. Lefty Gunplay is bulked up. He's in the gym working out. Now, once you get your body up to par, which is a great thing, it makes your spirit feel good. You need to get your spirit up to par, right? And I ain't gonna lie, man, when I was in prison, true stories, right? I get there. I'm doing a violation year flat, right? I got a homeboy. He's not from my neighborhood, but he's from Merced, from the same area, from not a rival neighborhood, but you know what I'm saying? And we had an alliance, our neighborhoods. He's from the boys at the time. Me being from Dead End, him being from the boys, we're real close, right? The boys stemmed from Dead End. So, anyways, he's already there on the yard. I get there immediately. What's up, bro? What's up? I know him from the streets, my boy. He's like, damn, bro, you're looking sucked up. I'm naturally a thin person. I'm usually chopped up, but I'm naturally thin and tall, right? And so he's like, damn, bro, we got to get you up to par, man. And I said, yeah, bro, I'm just, I'm coming off the streets. You know, in the streets, you're just doing your thing, not really working out. I wasn't. I'm just being honest, right? I'm not all in the gym and doing all that. I was too busy paying bills and working and just not paying attention. And so he's like, let's get you up to par. So we started to work out, boom, every day. I couldn't do 122s. And I slowly. And then I got addicted to working out. Bad. Like everywhere I went, I was just pushing push-ups. I'd be on the yard workout with him for about an hour and a half, go right in front of the building before we went in, doing push-ups the whole time, just getting it. immediately go into the building right by the telephones in the day room, lay my towel down. Me and this Africano brother, man, he was a big old black dude. We used to work out. Boom, boom, boom. We get it right there. Go in my cell, either shower or bird bath, depending upon availability, and just do my thing. Well, I didn't notice how big I was getting. I didn't realize the size I was putting on because you're the last one to notice, right? You don't see it, everyone else does. And I had to sell, he was a veterano, a straight OG. And he's laying on the bunk, right? And he's reading the newspaper. Well, he got his mattress rolled, he's up against it. And me and him really hardly talked. Like he was an OG. We did talk, but not like casually. You know, we talked when we needed to. And he was just, but he was a good seller. He was very clean. He was kept to himself. He was a hitter. It just, we didn't hit. I was too young. You know what I'm saying? We didn't hit it off like that. And so I'm getting there. And I'm at this point in time, I'm 3 days to the house, meaning I'm going home in 3 days. My violation is done. I'm up out of here, right? And so I've been getting my shit together slowly but surely, packing things away. I got what I'm going to leave to him or what I'm going to leave to my other homeboy on the yard, right? Like I've been taking shit out to the yard for the homeboy, hygiene products and things like that. Things that I want to give to him specifically. And so as I'm kicking back right there doing my thing, this old man's reading his newspaper and I'm working out, getting it right there. And he was like, this is exactly how he sounded. He showed the paper, went, "Is the key, youngster?" I said, "Hey, what's up, OG?" "You get your out on the... Wait up, let me get my equilibrium back now. Check it out, Holmes. If you get any bigger," it said, "they're not going to let you out." Right? I remember he was from Sanho. He said, "They're not going to let you out." And that right there, I was like, "What do you mean?" He was like, "Have you looked at yourself lately? You've developed, Holmes. I'm not looking at you, but you've really developed." Didn't realize it still was like, all right, end up getting out. I remember jumping on the Greyhound, going to Modesto, right? Or the Amtrak. Because I was in Corcoran, went to Modesto, went to my grandmother's house. My Theo was there, right? As soon as he see me, he was like, "What the fuck?" He called all kinds of homeboys, like, "Look at my nephew, that fool's on swole." Then I finally realized, once I got into the streets, damn, right? And what did I do? I didn't stay persistent and consistent. Stopped working out, lost everything, right? The whole moral to that story is you could gain it, you can get your mind right, and you can shine right. But if you don't stay consistent and want to do it, then you'll lose it all back. And next thing you know, you're back to sucked up and just doing what it is. Lefty Gunplay right now, this rehab has changed him. It's changed his mentality. It's changed his physical. Hopefully it could change his soul. And hopefully, man, he can get back to doing what he does. And that's making money and progressing for his family and for himself. And keeps some a core of solid motherfucking people around him. Because, you know, getting caught up with homeboys when you're already fucking doing concerts and movies and whatever you're doing ain't cool. Them homeboys don't have your best intention. I'm not going to say they're not your homies because I got homies that will fuck shit off too. They don't care. That's just the mentality. And then when they don't care, I don't care. It leaks off to people. Anyways, Lefty Gunplay 2.0. What do you guys think? He got bigger. He got swoller. But look, physical don't mean shit. I mean, he's looking nice. He's there, man. You know, and he can only get bigger and bigger. Physical is where it starts. Mental. But also that it goes hand in hand because you have to have the mental stability to stay working out, to stay consistent, because that's what's wrong with a lot of people nowadays. They want to do it. They want that look. They want to work out. They want to be healthy, but they don't have the mental stability. Look, every day is a challenge for me. I got diabetes. It's a challenge. It's a challenge to not drink sodas with sugar in it. It's a challenge to not eat certain foods. I grew up eating tortillas. It's hard for me to stray away from the things that I know that I grew up on. But I gotta I gotta have that mental. You know, I tell me and Dub sit there every day, we gotta work out, we're gonna work out, we're gonna work out. We never do, right? That is not because we don't got mental stability or we're not strong enough. It's just because you get preoccupied and your mind gets sidetracked. I hope Lefty Gunplay stays persistent and consistent with what he's doing because he's looking healthy, he's looking good. And people that, there was one guy, oh, it's AI, it's this, it's that. Bro, stop fucking being a hater. Let the little homie do his thing. Show, let him win. He's gotten so much hate. That's the reason why people are all addict out and they're all drugged out, because people just hate and hate and hate. And some people don't got the mental, man, to deflect shit. Some people don't know how to deal with it. And so they turn to the spoon or whatever they turn to, the bubbler. You know what I'm saying? They get to percolate and shoving shit in their ass. Don't do it. Lefty Gunplay, man, I respect it. I see that he's changed, and I hope he continues to change. With that being said, let me know what you guys think. Do you think that was AI, or do you think he's just, some fake pictures? I think it was real, man. And I hope it is. And I hope the next step in his sobriety, man, is staying that way and keeping real people around him. thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive, struggle, and strive for what I truly believe in. That's the betterment of all people. This particular video right here is sponsored by Barrio Liquors, man, out there in Turlock, California. If you're ever in the area, tap in and go get you something cold out there at the Barrio. Man, my respects to Lefty Gunplay. You did it, Ese. You did it. You gained 45 pounds.